Alert, alert, stage 5 clinger, alert, alert. Hi there, men's dating coach HarryWilmington here, founder of introvertdatingsuccess.com. And on today's show, we're going to be answering a question from a guy who has been hanging out with a girl for a little bit. They recently hooked up, and now it seems like she's showing that behavior of being clingy and wanting to see him a whole lot. And he's wondering how to politely tell her to stop doing that. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the little bell icon to be notified of when I post up new daily videos. Also, be sure to go to the website to download my free ebook, Texting Like a Boss, as well as hitting on the tip jar tab to show your support, the links of which can be found at the website and in the description below. Let's go ahead and get into it. So he says, last night, I slept with this girl I've been hanging out with for the past few days. She was very chill and cool up until the point where we hooked up. She stayed over at my place and everything was legit and normal. Now today, I had a family barbecue at my parents' house. All of my family was there, my brothers and sisters, etc. I was hanging out and having a good time until the girl that I banged the night before showed up. I was freaking shocked. I asked my family members, is this some kind of joke to invite her here? Then my sister said she called her and the girl said that she is my girlfriend, so she wanted to come. And so I read down later on in the post, apparently his sister knew the girl from some hair shop that they used to go to together or something like that. So anyway, but he didn't know that at the time. Anyway, he says, my family was nice. Oh, he says, I was terrified about how she even knew about my family's barbecue because I didn't tell her, but even more terrified about her behavior. My family were nice and they accepted her proposition to have a meal with us. But here is the most messed up part. My mother was questioning her, like, what do you do in life, etc. And then she mentioned her plans for the future, in which in her mind also included me and giving birth to our baby. I did use a condom last night, so I don't get what's the point of that story. She really thinks that we're together now. Now, here's the deal. How to softly tell her that you're coming off too strong to F off. I really suck at nice talking, and sometimes I may be too direct, so I don't want her to stalk me or anything crazy in the future by pissing her off. All right, so before I answer this guy's question, I want you guys that are listening to this and watching this on YouTube to notice something, okay? Is that this is an example of a girl that has high interest in a guy, okay? They hung out for a couple of days, they hooked up together, and now she's already trying to be in his orbit. Now, in terms of how she's coming off, that is not the best. But I want you to see this is what can happen to girls when they actually have a high interest in you and are really trying to be with you, is that they will exhibit signs of high behavior. In this case, she talked to the sister and already said she was the girlfriend and said that she wanted to go to the barbecue to be able to see him and spend time with him and get to know his family. You want to pay, ideally the girl's pacing this out a lot better than this girl is, but again, these are signs. So for you guys that are wondering, well, if I give a girl my number or we hook up and then she doesn't text back in three or 4 days, does that mean that she's interested? Or, you're trying to pull tooth and nail to get a girl to go out with you? I've said this time and time again, dating is not really hard. You try to find women that will be interested candidates. You go and show them a good time and you continue to ask them out and hopefully that they'll say yes, which indicates that they want to see you. And if not, then they won't. And it's really that simple because girls like this is a girl right here that's she is ready for the get down. He doesn't have to second guess it or question it. He knows that this girl emphatically likes him. Now, in answer to a specific question though, he says, how do I softly tell her that you're coming off too strong? The reality is when you have women that are very, very highly interested, sometimes their own high interest can blind them into doing moves that aren't effective for your attraction level. Yes, just like there are men out there that are not good at dating, there are also women out there that get too clingy and get too needy and can come off desperate. And the sad part is, much like in the same way you might be doing things and not being aware that it's making you look a certain way, women will also do things that they're not aware of are actually hindering their chances at being able to keep the attraction of a guy as well. And behavior like this, where it's they just pop up out of nowhere, and with our family there, that can be a thing that's oh my God, I'm getting turned off. But if she's a hottie, if she's got, a good body and is attractive, you don't want her to exhibit crazy behavior. You want her to act normal. You want her to be doing things that aren't going to turn you off because it's a pretty girl, it's a good hookup, and you hate to see her shoot herself down in flames. But here's the thing that most guys don't recognize, okay, is that you have a say in how this attraction method goes. And what most guys mess up is they just assume that anything a woman does in the mode of attractiveness or trying to get them attracted is perfectly fine and okay, and that if they don't go along with it, then, well, it's just a thing where they just don't click and it's not going to work out. But you could be giving up girls that actually would be good for you if you were the one to be able to come in and steer this ship. And what you got to get into the headspace of is that just like women are going to have their things that they want out of a relationship, you have yours as well. And if the woman does not know what those things are, or if she's not aware of things that she could do to actually like make your attraction for her go away, then you are throwing away a relationship that could potentially be great. Okay. And so there are some women out there that think that once they get really attracted to a guy, they think they need to do all these things as a means of really putting herself out there to let him know emphatically that she likes him. And that might not be you. I know for me, for example, as an introvert, I very much like my alone time. There are some women that when I first start dating them, they want to try to spend every waking hour with me. And I have to sit them down and say, you know what? That's actually not something that I need. Like, I actually need time away from you, not because I don't like you, but because I'm an introvert and I need my alone time. But when I don't get that, then what happens is I feel like my time's not being respected and it can cause me to lose interest. And I have this conversation so they recognize that on the days that I'm not around them, I'm still thinking about them, I still care about them, but that it's just a situation where I'm not trying to, in the moment, have to see them every single day of the week. Like, that's just not how I'm going to operate. And usually when I first give this conversation to a woman, she might feel some kind of way about it, but I'm like, you can feel some kind of way about it all day, but this isn't going to work out long term if I don't get this. I need this to happen. I need this to not happen, okay? I don't need you to text me all the time. I don't need you to constantly try to call me up and ask me for dates. Like, I appreciate that you're showing the interest, but I will let you know when I want to go on a date. Like, it's perfectly fine. And so that's what it sounds like this girl needs. It sounds like she's overall so far, I don't know much about her because it's only just a post and there's not much said about who her personality is and stuff like that. But if it's going the way that it sounds like it's going, whereby they hung out for a little bit, he was clearly able to get her interested enough to hook up with her. And some women, honestly, once you hook up with them, they're in the mindset of if I gave my body to him, we now go together. And that's also a conversation you got to have where it's like, hey, I know we had a good hookup thing and that's great, but I'm still getting to know you. So for now, let's not put any titles on this. Let's just get to know each other and see if it builds towards eventually having that title. And I know these are, for some of you younger guys, this might sound like a weird thing to do. Like, you wanted me to have a sit down and have a conversation about this and say things just like this, and it's not going to hurt their feelings. But understand, women are going to follow your lead. Women are looking for guys who they can trust to be a leader in the relationship. And so that means knowing what boundaries to set, because women work best when they know what your boundaries are. Women will test you less if they're able to see that you're setting boundaries. For example, a lot of the girls that I date these days don't really test me too much in terms of doing like the so-called SHIT test, because I set out. Well, for one, I tell them stories about girls that I got rid of that were trying to do these certain tests on me. And then also, they just know from the way that I am that these things are things that he is emphatically about. These are things that he likes. These are things that piss him off. So let me not do those things over there. So I rarely get tested these days when I'm dating women, okay? But for you, in this particular situation, where this girl is like coming on really, really strong, again, she just might not know. And so this is a situation where you have to sit her down and say, hey, so, it was really nice seeing you it was good to see you at my parents' thing, but that did kind of like freak me out that you didn't contact me beforehand or even let me know that was going on. Like, I know you might have wanted it to be a surprise, but for where we're at in our current journey towards possibly having a relationship, I know for me, I say, like, I don't typically take girlfriends around close friends or family until we're established boyfriend and girlfriend. So that could be something he said, who says like, hey, I don't know if you're thinking we're already in a relationship situation. I think right now we're just getting to know each other. And so while we're getting to know each other, I don't really like to bring other people around that because I want to really make sure we know each other really, really well before bringing other people into the picture. And then you have the conversation of like, hey, so like, early on, I'm not going to be less attracted to you if you're not popping up all the time, or if I don't see you every single day. Like, I'll still like you even if you're not doing these things. And sometimes women need to know that because they might think that they have to do these certain things to attract you. So when you let them know that you're going to still like them and still want to hook up with them and still possibly ask them out, even if they're not trying to see you all the time or whatever, then that can be a burden off her shoulders, and she'll be able to say, okay, so, I can have a date, or if I'm at home and I don't hear from him, I can know that he still likes me, and it's fine, okay? Because women ultimately are kind of like, her fear right now is that if she's not doing these things, she might lose him, and that's not the case. But she doesn't know that based on how her life's probably been up to this point. So you got to be in command of the ship. You got to be the one to set boundaries that you can tell women about, so that way they'll know how to treat you, they'll know what works for you and what doesn't, and ultimately you'll be able to keep your attraction to her, because if you tell her these things and she respects it, then you'll find yourself getting more attracted to her, and you won't have to get rid of somebody that was potentially a good woman for you to have in the first place. Now that you've heard from me, I'd like to hear from you. Have you ever dated a girl that was too clingy? If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below or write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. Are you ready to learn killer icebreakers that attract women on dating apps? Go to introvertdatingsuccess.com right now to watch my free video training, How to Get Attractive, Feminine, Emotionally Stable Women Dying to Respond to Your First Messages on Dating Apps Without Using Sleazy Pickup Lines, which will give you key secrets to sparking attraction and conversations with women online the smart way. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this episode, and catch new episodes 7 days a week right here on YouTube or wherever these podcasts can be found. In the meantime, be sure to check out some other episodes so that you too can learn how to date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.